Hey everyone, Johnny from Johnny Custom Glocks here. I wanted to shoot a short video on, I know there's a lot of trigger shoes that are just going around out there, and I've had a lot of customers ask me to, how do I get the Glock shoe off, without messing up a ton of stuff up in case I want to put it back on. And so I'm going to shoot a video on that. But first of all, on my other video I was talking about connector geometry. I wanted to show you guys, this little thing I built right here to show you how that actual trigger bar reacts, because this is actually how it sits in the gun, in the right exact pins and everything. So it's pretty cool how you can see right there, this is where the trigger is sitting. That's your first stage bump, like we were talking about right there. And then as it travels down the connector, that's how it gets dropped. Now, one thing I didn't discuss is this part. When the gun cycles and it's up there, this is reset, you see? So if you would think of the angle being more graduated, there's going to be less material behind this bird's beak. That way when you reset, it's not going to be as long. So that's a 3.5 connector. So that's your reset. Right. So basically, if I'm taking all the pre-travel out, I'm setting you right there. And so all you have with this connector is just about that much movement, and it breaks. As the gun cycles, since I have a stop, it's not going to have to come as forward as far. It's going to be about right there, so it's going to be, and then once again from that point, now that you've soaked up all the pre-travel, break, gun cycles, reset. Pretty snazzy, huh? Anyway, it's just good to, at least for me, to keep eyes on this kind of stuff. So how do you get this shoe off? Okay, basically the tools are a 1/4 inch punch, and the first thing you want to do, and it's better to have like the the bar hanging off the edge of a table here, you don't want to do it over a hole like this because it'll sprawl out and break the polymer away from there. But you can see it's a blind hole, so you can't see it from this side. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to set this on your trigger pin, 1/4 inch punch right on there. And then you can use, like something like this, like jeweler's hammer, but sometimes just a regular hammer is even better because you don't have to do a couple hits. And actually, if you can see that on there, it left a demarcation. It's just very subtle, but that's all you need right there. And actually, I'm going to show you the difference of a jeweling hammer and a like a regular big boy. Alright, so if we put this in there now, and we take a bigger hammer and just do one hit, sometimes if your eyes aren't that good, it didn't give me too much more to work with, but it's a little bit more pronounced. You can see it. Now at this point, you're going to put this hole over a hole, whether it's something that's simple. I just have one drilled here because I do a lot of this, or like that's just from the countersunk. And I'm going to take the tip of this, which you can even make these. I mean, you can use use a punch and straighten it out. It's pretty tough steel. This is just something I bought, I think, from General. And you're going to come right directly into the hole, into that marking. And you got to line it up good. Put a little pressure down on it, so you're actually creating a dimple there. And then come over with this. And with this, it takes a couple. Like I said, I usually use the hammer, but you can see, look, it came right out. So that is all of a hole you have to get this trigger shoe out. And that was unbelievably easy. I hope you all can see. It's a lot easier than getting this trigger safety tab pin out like the other video that I showed. But and then actually, if you don't want to have that hole, I use like a less, I think this is like 4.5 watts or something like that. You can just lightly, brush over top of this back and forth and get that hole filled up really nice without even any kind of real cosmetic, cosmetic problems as far as aesthetics are concerned. You really can't. It's really hard to see that. So, and that's basically it. Pretty simple. Just like I said, make sure when you push it this way with the punch, that you're not on an area that doesn't have anything underneath it, because it'll break. You'll see it'll make a crater there. I really don't have any extra shoes to show you that. I'm sure I do, but I'm not going to waste them. So you don't want to do that. You just want to, when you flip it and you're coming through the other end of that blind hole, that's where you want to have it in something that's going to allow that pin to push through. That pin right there. So that took all of about, what, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And like I said, once again, this was the little thing I made here. So if I put a 4.5 connector in here, you'd see the different angle, how it would drop. And this is kind of how I study how my groups are going to work in the guns. If I'm building something like a 1911 style trigger with that really quick break, I want to make sure I don't have a ton of resistance right here that I can feel. And this is without this is even without the striker spring tension countering it. So yeah, that's about it. You guys take care. Another instructional video here from me, and I'm going to keep trying to follow up with as many as I can. If you have anything you want to see, you can leave it in the comments below. I'll try to make a video on it and see what I can do. If you have anything that you like are dying to know about, and that's about it. Johnny from Johnny Custom Glocks, numbers 941-376-4383. Remember, you have to call me or email me to get anything. It's getjohnnyglocks@gmail.com. And that's about it. Everyone have a good day and take care.